Well, hello and welcome to The Quantum Healer. I am Dr. Tracey and I'm here today to talk to Marlissa Lariche, who is a Raindrop therapy practitioner. And I think you have a lot of other things that you do, which you can talk about and tell everybody about how you came to where you are. We've already done an episode on Young Living essential oils. So if you haven't watched that, go back into the archives and check that out, because it gives you the background on the oils that are used in this particular technique. But we'll dive into what is Raindrop therapy in a moment. Why don't you tell everybody who you are, what you do, and then what led up to you working with Young Living and doing Raindrop therapy?
Sure. So I have always been passionate about just reducing toxins and living more clean. I, in my early 20s, was diagnosed with endometriosis, pelvic floor congestion, and pelvic floor dysfunction, and pelvic congestive syndrome.
Okay.
So it was 3 different things, and I had multiple surgeries. I've went to 30 plus doctors, like in between a few years, and after the surgeries, it was a year and a half between the 3 surgeries, and I just kept having the pelvic pain. It was just this constant chronic pain, and they just kept saying, well, more surgeries or medication. And I said, finally, I was younger. I knew it wasn't right, but I didn't know anything else.
Yeah.
And so I finally went to these different doctors to maybe get a different answer. And I said, but you're just treating my symptoms. You're not treating, what's causing this to grow back? Because if we can find out what's causing it, then I don't have to, then I can heal everything. So I started to do my own research, and I decided to make significant changes with my lifestyle. So I started with diet first. I got rid of hormone disruptors. I looked at what I was eating, what I was putting on my body. And then the second phase for me is I started looking at the products I was using on my body. So food as well as toxins. So all the stuff I grew up on, fragrances, Victoria's Secret, Bath and Body Works lotions, candles. I did a massive overhaul, and I changed everything. And I had multiple doctors tell me I could never have children, ever. I walked out of OBGYN offices just bawling my eyes out, because I've dreamed since I was a little girl to have, a really big family. And so I was devastated. But within 4 months of cleaning up and changing my lifestyle, I got pregnant. So I then decided, I started my own journey, and then I started helping my friends and family and people that I knew. And it became a passion of mine to say, if I've already went through all this hard things, I don't want someone else to suffer. How else can I help other people?
Right.
So I started doing that, and I started a Facebook group called Toxin Free Clean Living. And it's ditch and switch things of here are deodorants or shampoos or conditioner, ditch your candles, get into essential oils. And then I started doing coaching from that. And then during COVID, I ended up creating a ministry, and I became a holistic minister practitioner, and also doing Raindrop therapy. So all of that started around 3 years ago. And then all the other stuff that I do, I research companies so that they meet my standards, the top of the top. So when people want to switch, what is an easy way? Because everyone's saying, they turn around a bottle and say, is this clean? I'm all about ingredients and teaching people to be aware. But some people are like, well, what's a clean option? And maybe one company might have 1 or 2 things that are okay, but then the whole line isn't. And it's confusing for people. So I research the best of the best companies, and I help them with, here's ideas to switch over to. So that's kind of how I became on my journey and how I started everything.
Okay. So you're really passionate about clean living, it sounds like. The natural move from fragrances that have a lot of toxins in them to a pure essential oil was something that you came to in this whole process. I know that Gary Young, unfortunately he's passed away now, but he developed these essential oils. There's lots of essential oils on the market today. In my opinion, there's something really special about Young Living oils. And tell us how you came to determine that for yourself. How did you come to figure out or find out that Young Living were the brand you wanted to work with?
That's actually a really great question. And also, I know when I was researching essential oils, and even to this day, there's so much misinformation and conflicting information on essential oils that it was just, you would think one thing and then you read something else that was the complete opposite. So I've dabbled in all kinds of essential oils. I started just using, oh gosh, probably all terrible oils, right? And I would smell them and, I didn't use them a whole lot. It would be like, oh, for like a little bit, maybe for chronic pain and then I moved into organic essential oils. And I had come across a couple of like the higher quality companies, but I was like, well, what makes them better? Like, why is that better? And then, well, there's no organic label on it, because then I was like big into like the certifications, and I came across someone that lived nearby me, and it was during COVID again, so when people were home a lot more. And she had a book on Gary Young, so I read the whole book and learning, and then I started learning more and more about the company, how they got started, how he helped, he created everything for a purpose and from a need. And using those oils and smelling them and comparing to other ones I've used in the past was absolutely mind-blowing. The difference in the quality was, I could never go back to using anything else. So that's what really drew me to it, was also learning just about his passion and traveling the world and everything that he did, as well as comparing to, I had used so many in the past. So, and also for my products, I was using, organic in my products, and I switched everything over. So I was like, wow, like this is really therapeutic.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I remember the first time I heard about them, I was in massage school, actually same place that Tammy went to, and this was like 25 years ago or more, and I didn't know anything about that. And I think, you learn what you learn through your parents or whatever, the people around you. Nobody was talking about essential oils until I went to a holistic massage school. And then I started thinking about, oh, wait a minute, the skin is the largest organ in the body, and what we put on the skin, we're digesting into our body. So wouldn't I want to put the best things on my skin? What am I putting on my skin? And then you start to think about, what are you putting on your skin?
Yeah.
The soaps that you use, the detergents that you use, like you said, the scented butters and lotions. Yeah, they smell nice, although they make me sneeze. That's my tell that something is toxic for me, is that I can't stop sneezing when I'm around it or when it comes into my field. I remember being younger and walking through like I worked at Macy's for like a minute, and you walk through that department with the sprays and stuff. I couldn't. I had to like run through because it would make me sneeze. So the body's always telling you something, just like kind of listen to it. But these essential oils are really something. I don't know about raindrop therapy. I've never had a session. Some of my teachers did it and offered it, and it was always like in the background as I should learn about this. So what is it? What is raindrop therapy? And what are the benefits of it? Let's kind of go there.
Yeah. So Gary Young, in his life and just in general with everything he did with essential oils, he traveled the world, and he wanted to understand the oils that are used in those cultures and in the origins, and how are these people using them and why. So out of all of his experiences, he developed raindrop therapy technique, I think in the 1980s, and it is a layering of essential oils, of the Young Living oils, and it really, I'm sure, a lot of things get stuck and are stagnant in our spine, and everything goes in and out of our feet. So by using the oils, and you can look up properties of, all the benefits of the oils, but it helps open up the body, it helps support it, immune system. It can help cleanse on a cellular level. So raindrop therapy uses 3 different techniques. We have feathering, we have aromatherapy, and we have the VitaFlex.
And VitaFlex is?
Vitality through the reflexes.
Oh, okay.
So they believe that putting pressure on different points creates electrical charge in the body.
Okay. And there's lots of different traditions that use those reflex points. So is it the same as reflexology or meridians, or is it just like his blend of?
It's similar. It stems from Tibetan mythology.
Okay, all right. So it's coming from Tibetan. I love that he went everywhere, learned the best of the best, and then, combined it with the oils. Every time I travel, like when I go to Thailand, it's where's the best jasmine oil. I was in Egypt, so then it was Blue Lotus. It's like I want the best oil from the place, and I'll seek that out and bring it home. So that's the only thing I use in that's not a Young Living oil, is if I find something right in that country that's blended and, may or may not be at the same quality of the Young Living, because that's really done so well over the years. So the raindrop therapy, what I heard you say, it's a layering. So explain that a little bit more.
So there's two parts of the process. One is the oils are layered on the feet, and then the second part is that they're layered on your spine.
Okay, so you're applying it to particular areas, and you're applying one oil first as the base layer, and then more oils on top. Do you want to explain that layering at all? Like what goes on the bottom or why? Or is that like a trade secret?
I mean, it's part of the whole experience of raindrop, and it can be tailored if someone has, a particular, everyone's different. So I can modify it depending on what's going on with that person at that time.
Okay.
But typically, in general, there's 9 essential oils. So oregano, thyme, basil, wintergreen, marjoram, peppermint, valor, aromaceas are the oils generally used.
Okay.
And they all have different properties.
Okay.
So you have, and the phenols help open up on a cellular level and will help support the body. Oregano and thyme are very good for supporting the immune system. It can ease muscle discomfort, or if you're really sore, you have wintergreen and the aromaceas in there.
Yeah.
So they all do different things in the body.
So I love that you can tailor it a little bit. So would that mean you would add other oils, or you stick to those oils and layer them a particular way?
It depends.
Okay.
You could do both.
Yeah. So that's neat. Because we're all different.
Yeah.
So you have the baseline technique, but then you can add or subtract or whatever. I love that. So this raindrop therapy, I'm going to experience a session and record it, and you'll see pieces of it, which is why there's like no hair and makeup today. Because you said before you come into the session, you gave me like a whole list of things. Don't wear fragrances, don't have makeup, don't do this and that, because the oils, you want the fragrance of the oils to be the primary.
Right, because what happens, and why I do this in general, and I'm sure you're very, clean living yourself, but just depending on what's being put on the body, the oils will want to detoxify anything that's not okay. So if someone puts lotion on or they have something on, it can also create a reaction trying to grab that out of it.
Right.
Of whatever chemical could be there.
Interesting. I realized I did put a little bit of lotion on, but not along my spine or feet. Because it's winter and you're so dry. Yes. So I did put something on that I hoped was not like smelly or anything. What are some of the benefits? Like somebody receives this treatment, how might they feel immediately after or days after? What have you seen?
So I've seen immediately after, and it can last up to a week or more. It depends on the individual, depends on what's going on. The various things that, personally, I would want to say one of the biggest things, obviously everyone is just like a massage. It's like, you're relaxed, you just feel more calm, reduce any kind of stress or, minor anxiety that people have. I just feel like they're so much calmer. Also, brain fog. I've noticed, like, a lot of my clients that they have a lot of trauma they've had brain issues and tumors and such. They will say, just driving home, like, wow, like my brain is so clear and I can think clearer.
Does that work if you're just older?
It could, everyone's different, so that's like,
you're in that
everyone has
stage.
that brain fog.
You walk into the kitchen, you're like, why are I coming in the kitchen? Okay.
But in general, as I said, calming. If you have any muscle soreness or aches, it can just kind of reduce anything going on there. It's good for immune support. So in this season, I know there's something nasty going around right now, even though we're in March, but
I know.
A lot of people are sick. So
that's the one thing that's coming up a lot. Even for me, a couple weeks ago, I was starting to go on walks in the area, and I came home as soon as I walked into my house. Remember I told you about the sneezy thing?
Yeah.
I started sneezing as soon as I came in my house, but I'm like, oh, it was fine when I was outside. So what's going on in the house, right? I start tearing things apart, and sure enough, I find like a plug-in somewhere.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Didn't remember that, so I took that out. But so we're going to check out a session. Do you want to set that up in any way for people so that they understand what we're going to be doing ahead of time?
It's just as if you were going to go for a massage. So you basically, you'll take everything from the top up, off, and you lay in a bed with a sheet on top of you, and we start face up.
Oh, so you'll do face up and face down on the table. Okay. So you're going to see pieces of that. You'll see the feathering. You'll see the application of the oils. We'll give you a little sample, but not the whole thing. And then when we're done, we'll come back and talk about any particular things that like I felt during the session, so that I can tell people, oh, well, I definitely felt this happening here, or something happened there, or this is how I feel now that's different than before. Do you need to know anything about me or what's going on with me at the moment, or do you talk about there?
Yeah, we usually talk about it private.
Okay, so it'll be private, but I share everything. So, all right, we'll come back then.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. How do you feel?
Oh my gosh, that was very nice. That was really nice. It was interesting. My spine feels awake. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. A lot of things are done on different levels.
Yeah.
It can open up a lot of things.
As you were putting different oils on, I had different sensations. Like some of them I was startled by or felt really cold. Others felt really like warm and inviting. Some of them felt a little irritating. Others, were like awakening. Everything had like its own feeling and sensation. It was really interesting. But right now, I feel like my whole spine is just like really awake. All the energy is really awake, which is a cool experience. And I know that I kept my socks off so we could talk about the application, because the application was along the spine of the foot. So maybe people don't realize that, but I wanted to point that out. Right?
Yeah, it goes along in here and all the way up to the big toe.
Yeah, so you're applying to the foot points of the spine and then along the spine. So you're getting like a big spinal boom.
Yeah.
Through the whole thing, which is really cool. I definitely do feel like you were saying some people feel like a little bit more focused, and I do feel like a little sharper than when I came in. So we'll see how that plays out through the day. You mentioned something to me about where it was. What did you say? There was a spot.
So on people's back, when I do raindrop therapy, it will show up as red, or like if I just go like this to your skin and it leaves a mark, or you'll see it almost looks like irritation. I don't want to say it's irritation, but it'll just show up red on different parts of the spine. And that's where you can look up, the VitaFlex and different points to see like what organs is that, or what area of the body may need work, or what is it kind of clearing and opening up.
Gotcha. If, over the years, people will say things like, I'm allergic to this or I'm allergic to that. Like, one of the oils is oregano. What if somebody's allergic to oregano? Is that a thing? Is that something to worry about?
So I will always, I do whatever anyone's comfortable with. I always will, everyone's different. I will always respect someone's wishes. However, typically, people have allergies to a protein, and there's always an exception to the rule, but there's not really proteins in the essential oils from how they're extracted. Again, there's a select few that may. What I have found over the years is most people aren't allergic to that oil, is that they've used other essential oils or other things that have had lavender and lavender scented, and they're allergic to the chemicals that are put in that, because a lot of oils are synthetic, they're adulterated, they're not quality, and that's why essential oils can be, dangerous. It's not because they're not pure. They're allowed to have other things in them and then be on the market. I think it's only, I'll have to double check this, but I believe it's about 5% of like a pure oil only has to be in it to be deemed an essential oil.
Right.
So that's the problem.
It's really low.
It's really low on your skin. Like a lot of essential oils, they'll say, for diffusing only or aromatic use. It's like, well, why is it okay to breathe it in, but it's not okay to put it on my skin?
It's a good question to ask. Yeah, when you're out there looking at things, right? Mm-hmm. I know. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You're applying it, and that everybody is going to be different. But I think the general theme or nuance is, I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the rainbow drop therapy is supposed to create some kind of like balance to the system, is what I would think. Is there some other way you would summarize it?
No, it definitely helps restore balance within the body on all different types of levels.
And not just the physical body, the energy body, because at the end you had me do just kind of like an energy sweep with one of the oils, which I love, but the white angelica at the end. Is that something everyone does, or was that just for me, or?
I usually have everyone do that. It just kind of helps seals in your own energy. So, and I even do it for myself before I work on anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's very good. It's a special oil.
Yeah, so you're working on different layers of the being, and that to me makes a really whole quantum, discovery of the practice. So,
and another thing I can add that you'll probably enjoy, I don't know if you already are aware or not, but the oils actually get dropped 6 inches from the body, so it goes through the different auras.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with the different layers or auras of the body, that's the thing. When I did interview Jeffrey Lewis, you know Jeffrey.
Yeah.
So that's who I interviewed for the Young Living episode. And he was talking about the dripping through the layers and dropping out. So that's on the other episode if you want to go log in and check that one out. But yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time and sharing this method with me. Like I said, it's been in my background for 25 years, but I've never had a chance to experience it. So you have to be, I'm assuming, certified through Young Living Oils to do the raindrop therapy technique.
You have to be certified, in order to do it on anyone.
If you Googled or searched for raindrop therapy practitioner in your area, do you think you'd find? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. It was a lovely session. I feel relaxed but rejuvenated at the same time, like invigorated, which is something I enjoy. I don't like to just go home and want to like dive into bed after something. Like, you want to feel enlivened in a way too. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Marlissa is currently working here in Hillsborough at Abundant Healing. So if you're in the area and you want to seek her out, for sure, check her out.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.